but this time from the perspective of its original audience. A couple of cautions. It's not hard to become fascinated with Judaism for its own sake simply because of the antiquity of its traditions and because many of its practices are wise and biblical. But keep in mind that more than 2,000 years have passed since Jesus was born. Over the centuries, a lot has changed. Some Jewish practices and traditions harken back to this time, but many others do not. Bearing these cautions in mind, let's dive in and begin looking for the coral and the fish, the wonders that lie just beneath the surface. A glimpse of life in the first century. The Sadducees the Sadducees came primarily from the ruling priestly and aristocratic classes. Unlike the Pharisees, they did not believe in the resurrection of the dead, and they considered only the written Torah, the first 5 books of the Hebrew Bible, as binding. Despised as collaborators with Rome, they controlled the temple worship. Their influence ceased with the destruction of the temple in AD 70. As we begin to explore, looking beneath the surface of things, let's take a quick look at Israel in the first century. Already, the picture of Jewish life painted by the Old Testament is hundreds of years out of date. During the Old Testament, for instance, there is no mention of rabbis, synagogues, Pharisees, Sadducees, or zealots. Most of the people living in the land of Judea and Galilee are the descendants of pious Jews who returned to Israel after their exile in Babylon. Since then, life for the chosen people has been anything but idyllic. The Roman occupiers are universally hated for their brutality and pagan ways, to say nothing of the oppressively high taxes they levy. Little wonder that everyone is longing for a Messiah to come and deliver them by throwing out their harsh oppressors. Though anticipation is high, opinions vary about just how or when the Messiah will finally arrive. Sadducees, Zealots, Essenes, and Pharisees each have a different take on what has happened and why, and on how the future will unfold. Political tension and spiritual fervor are both on the rise. It is into this time of intense spiritual searching that another rabbi comes striding onto the scene. He hails from Nazareth. Can anything good come out of Nazareth?